We try to justify every pop and drop in the stock market and the cryptocurrency market. And the only thing that I can really say that there'd maybe be a link between the two for the most part is retail investors' emotions would be the same, except in cryptocurrency, it's going to be amplified by like tenfold because it moves a lot faster. But let's just think about this. And I would never say that somebody who had to sell in these markets is a weak hand, because we don't know what their situation is. Maybe they have a medical emergency. Maybe their family member needs help with medical bills. Maybe they need money for Christmas. I'm not really sure. But I do sometimes ask myself, who's selling in these markets? But we don't know what their cost basis is. You know, it's like, let's say somebody who sells Bitcoin now, well, maybe their cost basis was $1,000. And you wouldn't have to go back that far, like, you know, chronologically to get to $1,000 Bitcoin, you know? So like, let's say they bought it early 2017. And for them, they're like, well, yeah, I should have sold like earlier, but I'm gonna sell now because I'm gonna have the money and I think this is gonna go down further, yada, yada, yada. And it's still, you know, they made money on it. So it's still a positive gain. And so they decide to sell and sit out the drama. Because there is a lot of drama. If you sit around and you watch this stuff like day in and day out like I do, there's a lot of drama and it gets exhausting. You're like, oh, man, how many times are we going to buy the fucking dips? You know, it's like every day. So it even gets old for me, even though I wished for lower prices, and a lot of us did. Oh man, I just wish it would just, you know, go down and, you know, give me the chance to buy. And that's what I keep reminding myself. I wished for this. I wanted the prices to go down so that I could accumulate for the next run. And even me, it's like, oh man, like, okay, I'm going to buy again and then wake up tomorrow and the prices are going to be less. You know, you just get that feeling. And that's happened several times. But I keep buying and I keep spacing it out. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's the right investment strategy for me. And then, you know, you get people chiming in. There'll be a day where it's down and it's easy to say, oh, well, this is going lower. And, you know, we don't know how exactly everything's going to play out. It's like the move that it made in November where it just literally dropped off of a cliff. Nobody would have predicted that scenario where it literally, now you could say over a macro scale, that they said, well, I said that Bitcoin was going down to 3,500, or somebody could say that. But I mean, it literally just dropped off a cliff, like immediately. So for it to like kind of get there that quick was a little bit insane. And then others are like, well, this is going to be, and of course it does feel a lot like 2014 and 2015, you know, 2014. And then we're heading in here, and then, you know, it's like, where are we going to get this like fourth quarter rally? And then we don't. And then it's the opposite. That, you know, that feels like 2014. And I remember the emotions that I felt. And I don't know. I mean, personally, at that time, I was in a situation right then that I could keep holding, but it was very painful, and I was not accumulating right now in 2014. So, things have changed. Things are different this time. Hopefully that bids well for me in the long run. And I'm going to keep buying. But again, we don't know what people's situation is. And then trying to track it back to a particular thing. Well, people are selling because they need money for Christmas. And they kind of lost faith in this. Well, are the Chinese really celebrating Christmas? Is that? I don't think that's really a thing. I don't think that they are really focused on that. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Does the Chinese market, are they really participating on a retail level? Or is it only the rich people that have bank accounts in Hong Kong? You know, and then we ask ourselves all these questions to try to like justify these moves. And they even do it in the stock market. Today there was like business news on. They were saying, well, the CFO of Highway or whatever, it's like a Chinese electronics company, she got arrested up in Canada. The US asked her to be detained or whatever, asked the Canadians to detain her. And for some sort of trade, I don't know, discrepancy. I don't know what's going on, to tell you the truth. And then they're saying, well, that's why the stock market's down. And it's really hard to point to any one given thing. When the tide's going out, it's it's hard to kind of fight against that. People's confidence might have been a little bit rocked by some of the recent aggressive drops in the stock market. Now, an aggressive drop on the stock market is obviously 2 or 3% in a day, whereas in cryptocurrencies, magnify that by 10. So if the emotion is linked from the retail investors, you can imagine if their 401k or the Roth IRA or something goes down that day, and then they're not feeling good about that, and then the money that they had in cryptocurrencies is absolutely getting destroyed, they feel even worse about that. So, you know, I would say if anything, the emotion is linked. Now I'm going to talk about diversification in a future video, but that's another thing. It's just like, well, are some of these sell orders, they feel like maybe their best bet is to go back to Bitcoin. And so we see like an outflow from some of the altcoins back to Bitcoin. And I'm going to give my thoughts on that like in another video. But at the end of the day, emotionally, what people feel is very, very painful when the price goes down. It's actually, studies have shown that it's actually worse than the euphoria that someone feels when the market goes up. Again, where's the bottom? You know, there's really no telling. And at the end of the day, some people say, well, you started your buys too early. But that's hindsight. You know, if everything would have like went hockey stick parabolic or something, or let's say on some of these trades that I've made recently where I bought in, if it would have like shot up, like let's pretend I would have bought Factum and then suddenly it's shooting up and people are like, oh, you're genius, you know. But so at the end of the day, I mean, I'm accumulating long-term positions, and you know, like at the end of the day, really when it boils down to it, I'm looking to live a life of absolute freedom and to get stupid bitty rich. I'm talking about fuck you money. So, and not fuck you, I don't want to yell at you guys like that, but you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I'm trying to get stupid bitty rich. So I'm not going to probably catch absolute bottom. Maybe I do. I would feel great if I actually bought like in the middle of the night and I bought like, you know, a decent little sizable chunk of crypto. What ended up being the bottom, that would be cool. But it's probably unlikely for it to happen. At the end of the day, I remember the emotions that I felt in 2014, and I was not accumulating right now. I was questioning, why would it continue to drop? Like, there's all this good news out there. That's the way I felt. And then there'd be a little drop, and it's like, well, okay, this or that happened. That's not good. But then there'd be good news again. I'd be like, well, why isn't it going up? So on the good news days, it wouldn't go up. And then the slightest bad news day, it seemed to go down. That's just the way it felt. But tide's going out. It's hard to fight against. Anyway, what are you guys buying? Follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Steam it. See you guys later.